Hi guys, Diamond Stitcher here. I also go by Elisa. I am awake at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. I haven't been able to sleep. I've actually been awake since 1:05 to be precise. I hope you are having a good day, night, afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this. It's time for me to switch out and refill the putty and waxes in my pens. So I thought, what better time to do a video on showing people how to use the various products that are on the market. Of course, this isn't everything out there that's available. It's just the stuff that I like to use. First, I'll go over glue dots. A lot of people like using these in their single placer. They're little glue dots here. You can see a little bit there. These are not micro glue dots. Micro glue dots are easier. They're much smaller, so they fit nicely in the single placer. These are probably the small ones. I'm not sure. I don't have the box with me still. But I like using these in my single placer these days, so I'll show you how I get them in there. Let me use this pen. Also, I wanted to show you the tips that I use. Now, these tips are stainless steel, and they're from Everlasting Tips on Etsy. She is actually the original creator of the stainless steel tips, based in Australia. And I have them in all my pens, or I have a variety of different sizes of multi-placers, I should say. I also like her bent single placer. I find it much easier to diamond paint with. Instead of having to do it with my wrist kind of torqued like that, I can relax it a bit and diamond paint with the tip on an angle. My multi-placers, I like the straight ones. She also does have bent multi-placers. I have one here actually to show you. Again, this can relieve some pressure on your wrist, so if you deal with carpal tunnel, might be good to try a tip like this. I personally find that I can't get my diamonds as straight as I like them, so for my multi-placers, I stick with her straight ones. People always ask how wide they are, so let me show you here, kinda. I wouldn't say they're thin. I consider them regular size. I don't think they're too big for me. I find I have better precision with these than I do with the thin ones, but everybody has their preference. Anyway, so to load a glue dot in my single placer, what I do is take a glue dot off of here, and then I just use my metal tips, tweezers, to put it in there. Now, if I just do that and I pull it away, it's gonna stay stuck to my tweezer. So what I do is I put it in and I use my finger or my thumb to kind of hold it down there. And what I do is I work it in. Push it down, make sure it's pushed down to the bottom of that tip. Now there will be excess, especially in these this size of glue dots that I'm using. So what I do is I just take my pair of craft scissors and I just trim the excess off. And you can save that piece for later or discard it. And then again, just make sure that it is nice and flat. When you first load your pen with a glue dot, it's going to be super sticky. Sometimes that means the diamonds won't let go of the dot. So you'll often hear or see us post saying dirty it up a bit. That means either use your oils on your skin, or you can use your clothes and just dab it a few times to dirty it up, so to speak. And that just helps reduce a little bit of the sticky so that your diamonds will stick to the diamond painting rather than stay stuck to your tip. So that's what I use in my single placer. Also, sometimes I'll use a hard wax. Now this one is from Putty Wax, which is a small shop based in the States. I personally like her super sticky wax. You can see this one's well loved. She has a variety of different scents as well. I prefer the super sticky because I'm a hard presser. I find with waxes, it can leave quite a bit of residue and I don't like it. It's an easy fix. When you're done your diamond painting, you just need a warm, damp cloth and wipe the residue off. But I prefer not to do that. So if I use wax, I like the super sticky. There's also a shop based in Slovenia, Mad Wood Turning SI, and she has a beeswax alternative that works similarly to this, that I also have used in the past. So to load, let me get a new pen here. To load the wax into your tip, I've tried using this with my multi-placer. I don't like it. I prefer just sticking with the single placer for this kind of wax. And what you do is you just scrape it, which is why you can see all those scrape lines. So you scrape it till it's full, and then you just push it in, make sure it's all the way to the bottom, and wipe off the excess there, just like that. And it's ready to go. If you are a hard presser, you may find some residue. Otherwise, I find this one works really good for a wax. What I also use sometimes is this, and this is called Not Your Mama's Mud. A lot of people in the community like to use this. She's a small shop owner on Etsy. Her shop is called Whimsical Daisies. She does restocks. When she does restock her shop, they usually sell out. You'll usually see a post on one of the various Facebook groups saying, hey, she's restocked, and everybody rushes over there and gets their stash. I actually have quite a few of these on hand. That whole fear of missing out thing, right? This one is scented cucumbers and melons. She also has an unscented one, which is a nice alternative for those sensitive to scents. I do find, though, that her scents are very light. I do have asthma, and fragrances can irritate that, but with her use of scents, it doesn't bother me at all. You can use it in your single placer or your multi-placer. What I like to do, because it is a small container, is I take the rounded edge of my tweezers and I just scoop some out. It is a bit stiff. It's not hard, it's soft wax, but it's just a bit stiff. It works very similar to the pink wax that you find in diamond painting kits like Diamond Art Club. I find it works a little bit better. So what I do is I just work it into the single placer, just like I kind of did the wax or the glue dot. Make sure it's nice and flat. For my multi-placer, what I do is I will roll it into a bit of a log, kind of like that, and then I just work it in, push it in, roll the sides up. I've got way too much there. I'll take a bunch off. And just work it until it's nice and flat. I do find whatever ingredient she puts in here, it does rise a little bit. So sometimes I find it can be uneven once it's set. So I just work it so it's nice and flat. If you are a hard presser, this will come out much like pink wax does, though I find it not as bad. Again, that's Not Your Mama's Mud from Whimsical Daisies on Etsy. My favorite thing to use in my multi-placers is actually putty. I use a variety of different putties. These are 4 that I currently have on hand. I used to own a small shop, as quite a few of you know, and I like supporting all of them. I like to share the products and let you guys decide what you want to use or who you want to support, rather than telling you who you should support. But my favorite by far is Randa's Crafty Corner. She's very sweet, has a shop on Etsy called Randa's Crafty Corner. She's based in the States as well. I actually will do group orders from her from time to time. I do run the creator and run a Facebook group, Licensed DP Fans Canada. It started out as a de-stash site for Canadians because it was so hard to find people willing to buy and sell in DAC fans. So we created our own little group. It's turned into quite a supportive environment where we share tips, tricks, all things diamond painting related, some cross stitch too, because why not? So I do put a group order in, which cuts down on the shipping. So if you're Canadian and you might be interested in group order from a variety of small shops, come check out the Facebook group, and that's where I'll post if I'm going to be doing a group order. I just did one for Randa. I'm waiting for that putty to come. I do have some Mary Mud, which I'll show you in a little bit, also that some people were really interested in, and that I will also post for sale in the near future. My light just went out there, so we're gonna do the best we can with the natural light. I bought a new system, but the light seems to overheat very easily, so I'm probably going to return it today. Anyway, putty. Let's look at Randa's first. I love her scents. They're just enough, not too much it's overpowering, not too little that you can't smell it. I like her more natural scents. This one's called Sea Breeze. Tropical Island is another one I like. White Tahitian Woods is another one. She's quite a few different scents, fruity scents as well, variety. She restocks every Monday, I think at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I could be wrong there, but her Instagram, Randa's Crafty Corner, she posts the restock day and what time every week, and it's always on a Monday. This is a nice smell. So what I'm gonna do is show you how I load it into my pen. I have a variety of pens here on the side. So I'm gonna use this multi-placer. Okay, there's a couple different ways you can load putty. You can stab it and kind of twist and tear, or you can rip off a piece like this and work it in with your fingers. So I twist it into a little bit of a log here, and then I just push it in with my fingers. Make sure it's even. Make sure it's completely full. That way it's nice and flat on the top here, and that will give you the best placement with your diamonds. So it's very simple to load, as you can see. I like Randa's putty because it's one of the firmest ones that I've tried. I'm a hard presser, so the firmer the putty, the better. The less likely it's going to leak out the sides or overflow on the edges when you're placing your diamonds. And the less likely it is to stick to the glue, which is another annoying part of sometimes using different putties. So that's how I load Randa's. She keeps it in a sealed little bag here with a label on it. Keep it sealed, keep it closed, keeps it fresh longer. I also wanted to show a couple other options for putty. Enabler's Outpost has their own version that they call Chit. C-H-I-T. That's actually a Romanian word for putty. They have cute little packaging here. They use scents as well. I'm not sure if she does an unscented one or not. I'm sure if you messaged her requesting unscented, she could hook you up. This one is in the scent of bamboo. It's a bit of a stronger scent, but it's not too overpowering, and it comes in usually this kind of shape. Their putty is softer. I, again, will use it in my multi-placer, and you put it in the same way as Randa. So I'll show you the other way you can do it, which I call is the stab, and then you kind of twist the pen and tear it like that. And then you just work it in with your fingers as well. Make sure that it's all the way to the bottom of that placer. And if you need to add more, you can add more. Looks like I need to add more. I only need a little bit, so I'm just gonna tear a bit off, roll it into a log, and work it in with my fingers, taking off the excess. When you're diamond painting, sometimes you'll find the putty does this. It goes over the edges like this. So I don't know, every couple minutes or so, when I notice it doing that, I will just use my finger to push it back up on top and work it back in and flatten it out. I find that helps reset the putty and back to its original state so that I can pick up diamonds nicely. Again, this putty is a bit softer, It's nice and sticky, so it picks up the diamonds, which I like. If I leave this in my multi-placer open to air for a few days, it doesn't lose its sticky, which is a nice benefit, because I do just leave my pens in an open container. Again, all this putty, I wouldn't say there's one better than the other. They all work differently, and everybody's going to have their preference and what they like to use. I like supporting, like I said, a variety of small shops. This is a new to me shop called Mary Mud, is what she calls her putty. I believe her Etsy shop is Mary Making Crafts or Mary Making and More. I'll try to link these various shops in the description if I remember. She often will color her putty to make it a little bit different. Lots of variety of scents. Her scents are a little bit on the stronger side, which sometimes can aggravate my breathing. What I have done in the past with the more stronger scent is I just left it outside open, the package open, so it could air out a little bit, and that worked for me. But her scents do last a long time, which is nice. I will load up another pen. Again, it loads up exactly the same as the other putties. Stab, wiggle, work in with your fingers. I actually like to have about usually 3 pens on the go, and I have different things in each pen. So I always have a pen with a glue dot and Randa's Crafty Corner putty. That's my go-to. But then I'll also have a pen with a glue dot and some Enablers Outpost chit. And lately I've also had one with some Mary Mud. I find the longer I'm sitting in diamond painting, the softer that the putty can get, the more finicky it can get. So if I'm noticing that it's harder for me to pick up the diamonds, or they're sticking to the putty too much, like they won't let go, I'll put the pen down and I'll grab another one and use that for another 20 minutes or so. And I'll just keep switching for my diamond painting session. So that's how you load the putty into the pens. I also wanted to share with you a Canadian small shop. These 3 shops I just showed you, Randa, Enablers Outpost, and Mary Making Crafts, are all based in the US. As I said, I can do group orders if there's interest. And that cuts down on shipping for Canadians, because I'll send it ground mail for a couple bucks extra, and we split the USA shipping costs. So if you really like one of the products from the USA shops, stay tuned, stay posted. I'll post in the Facebook group if I'm planning to do a group order at all. I will be posting some Mary Mud up for to buy in the group. I bought a bunch just to show some support, because there was quite a few people posting in my group that they wanted to try it. So there will be some posted maybe later today. I have to check the mailbox, I think the next package came. Now, I did want to show you this putty. This is from a Canadian small shop. It's a little hard to see here. Enchanted Succulent on Etsy, and I'll link her as well. She's not on social media. She just has her little Etsy shop. I like her putty the best out of the Canadian options. I find it's the closest in consistency and performance to Randa's Crafty Corner. She also offers a variety of different scents. This one's Ocean Waves. She has them in a little plastic container. And it's also a nice light scent. It's not too overpowering. As I said, her putty is a little stiff like Randa's, so it can be hard to get out. So I often use the rounded edge of my tweezers just to pop some up so it's easier for me to grab. And it works very similarly. Do I have another pen? Here we go. In terms of putting it in, I roll this one into a log and just work it into the tip. This one's a little bit sticky. But as I said, I find for a Canadian alternative, if you like shopping local only, I would recommend giving this shop a little try. They also have wax. I'm not a fan of wax just because I don't like the residue So I stick to putty and glue dots mostly these days, but this is a Canadian alternative as well, and it's affordable, which is nice. For us Canadians, it's the shipping that usually gets us every time. It's gone up in the last year, ridiculous. So that's the putty. So that's what I use in my pens. I usually have 3 going with a variety of different things. I'll try to link the shops that I can in the description of the video. If you have any specific questions about any of the products, leave a comment below and I'll answer to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I will find it out for you. I will do a pen stash video as well. I like collecting pens. Actually, I used to have quite a few. I had a whole case full of them. But about a year ago, I decided to simplify things and destash a bunch of them. So I still have my favorites, and I actually have, I don't know, 4 or 5 on order on the way. Because who doesn't need a new pen, right? So stay tuned for that video. I'll show you my pens, where I get them from, and such. Don't forget to like this video, please, and subscribe. I'd like to have you aboard this diamond painting YouTube adventure. I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.